Hello traders and welcome to the weekly Outlook and Setups volume 106. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm super happy to have you on my channel. And as you know, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming one. So this week we had some pretty amazing opportunities. I'm a little bit pissed off myself, and I'm gonna show you why potentially when we go to the EU chart. Because sometimes you get fixated on a bias, and although in every single video that I create, I always tell you guys to flow with the market, trade what you see, don't kind of marry your analysis, don't say Euro USD is gonna be like bought off or it's gonna skyrocket to the sky, because you get married to that bias and then you actually don't see the market objectively. So definitely from time to time, kind of have a little bit of a reality check. Is the thing that I actually expect to happen really possible in terms of technical? So I'm gonna give you a few tips as we go along the video. But yeah, if you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share these weekly Outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I share an educational piece of content or a trade setups breakdown video. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notification bell in order not to miss when those videos are upcoming. And before we start, I want to mention that I've been trading some cryptos with cheddarforex.com. It has all the cryptos and as well currency pairs. The spread is great, and they have a zero commission account, but if you pick their eco account, it has a little bit of a commission, but it goes towards planting trees. So on every lot you trade, they plant 10 trees. And I think this is an amazing initiative, so make sure that we all support them. Link is down in the description, and if you already checked them out, let's head straight into the analysis. As always, starting with our best friend, the Dixie, to have a look what potentially the dollar could do this week, and just to build kind of a hard time frame analysis to potentially know what to expect on the dollar, right? So as always, we start on the weekly time frame, and what we see is that the market is in a perfect downtrend. However, as you can see, we have a lower low right there, lower high, lower low, then the market starts to shift a little bit, creates still a lower high. So what do we expect after this lower high? We expect a lower low, all right? Was the lower low created? Nope. We have a double bottom, the market found support, and right now what I think is happening is we are in a reversal phase. We have an amazing confirmation with this bullishness right there that also broke very minor structure, potentially seen on the daily. And right now, potentially, I would expect the market to go for a new higher high of this lower high created right there. Why? Well, simply because this lower high right now is not strong. Why isn't it strong? Because it did not break structure to the downside, right? So what I expect to happen is for the market just to come inside right here, react a little bit, and then to potentially push to the upside, all right? So in terms of the positioning of price right now, this week we started pretty bullish and we reacted exactly from that level. So my question for next week is, are we going to continue trading higher, or are we going to initiate maybe a little bit of a pullback before actually pumping into the highs? All right, so that is the biggest question. Let me know what you think. But then dropping onto the daily, again, will it make sense for the market to actually break this daily structure, to pull back all the way into the lows and then to potentially pump higher? Well, definitely it could be, because this is your weekly leg. And if I show you something, for example, if we catch it from the bottom of the leg to the top of the leg, this is a Fibonacci. Usually what I only kind of trade is below the 50%. I don't use 621.8, 705, all of that stuff. I just need to see the market come below the 50%, where I would usually start looking for trades. All right. So from the weekly time frame, it will be nice for the market to drop below this area. But when we transition to the daily and start following the structure, we have a higher high, higher low, and then we have a confirmed higher high. Why is it confirmed? Because it broke structure, right? So where is our new daily higher low? It's right there. Make sure to mark them out, guys. So double click, text, daily higher low, so that you know actually where you are, because if you don't know where you are, you get lost when you start dropping to the lower time frames. So what happened this week on the DXY is I shared this level to my team, and I said the dollar will sell off from right here. Why? Because those are simply supply levels that the market tends to react from. Okay, if you see why does this reaction happen, have a look on the left, we have this range. Why does this happen? Have a look on the left, we have this range. If you always have a look on the left, you're always gonna see why does the market react from something, right? And so right now what I think is we are in this pullback stage to the downside. And I forgot to tell you what I actually wanted to say on the daily. Again, if we do the same thing, if this is our higher low and this is our new higher high, then what I would expect the market to do is drop below the 50% and then potentially be bought again. All right. And then the next question is, where do we want to buy it from? Well, as soon as it drops below the 50%, then potentially we can start positioning ourselves to find some levels to potentially buy the market from. What I don't like a lot about the DXY is that it's pretty strong, it's pretty weak, I should say, very strongly breaking structure to the downside. But yeah, as I told you, I believe that this is just a reaction to create the higher low, and potentially what I'm going to be observing right now for the beginning of the week and Tuesday is if the market, how the market is going to open. So again, we can have a pullback to the upside to create a lower high. Then I'm going to sell the market into the lower prices, and as it gets right here, I'm gonna start monitoring the market for potential longs. All right, so this is my plan on the DXY. It really depends how it opens, because if it opens with bearishness, then I'm immediately gonna start looking for the longs. But if it opens with bullishness to create that pullback, then potentially I can take a little sell into the lows and then to potentially look for the longs. All right, so that is my plan on the DXY. I still see it as bullish, meaning that EU should be bearish. So let's see how those are gonna correlate. All right, let's have a look at my favorite Euro USD. I'm gonna start from the monthly right there because I want to show you something as well in terms of expectations. So as you can see from the monthly, we kind of reversed from the downside. We created this massive pump into the highs, then the market slowly came right there, created a higher low. Why is this a higher low? Because it failed to break below this low, right? And right now we are on the way to creating a potential higher high. So as you can see, the monthly time frame is bullish. All right, but what we saw right here is the market reacting from this very strong high, right? This is a monthly level. This is where the market stopped and created a big downtrend. So a lot of orders were initiated from here. And as you can see, as the market came inside, very strongly reacted, then it pulled back. And what is a very important thing to note is that the market failed to make a higher high right there. So right now, this is a lower high. So what are the expectations? Are to make a new lower low of this structure. And if this structure breaks, then what we can potentially expect is the market to pull us back deeply below the 50% and then to potentially start targeting all of those unretested levels right there. Okay, so very important level right there to note on the monthly, which is also a weekly low. All right, and if you start dropping to the weekly, it kind of starts making sense, right? If you just simply understand structure, we have a higher low, higher high, beautiful. The market pulls back, creates a higher low, beautiful. We're longing for right there. Then the market starts to push up, but it just starts to fail to break above, which means that a lot of sell orders are still coming from that level. And right now, again, we have a confirmation with this massive pump to the downside. Okay. So again, a few things can happen. Like there are a lot of scenarios, and this is why you should really flow with the market. What we can do is we can pull back to create another lower high and then to sell off, right? We can push to the downside, consolidate, and then start breaking structure and then start targeting the highs, right? Or we can just plummet to the downside, okay? So really important, and this is why I don't like giving like specific analysis, but I would love to give more like scenarios, right? So where is the market currently? Well, if you see again, this is a pretty strong level, right? And this is my last resort for taking longs. And this is my biggest mistake, that I looked for longs too much this week on EU. Then dropping onto the daily time frame, you can see that it is pretty bearish, right? Since the top, we kind of started slowing down. See how the pushes got weaker, like push, very weak push. Then we start slowing down, we start changing structure, lower high, and then we just sold off right there. So potentially the market still needs a pullback. It still needs a bigger pullback towards these areas, but let's focus on what is happening right now. The market massively pumped to the downside, created a lower high, and right now we are at a lower low. Although we didn't entirely break the structure with a body close, it is still a lower low. So what we could expect is a pullback, lower high, and then a continuation down into this very strong level right there, where we could potentially start looking to again buy the market, which would be a reversal. So dropping to the hourly. But yeah, maybe let me drop all the trades that I took this week on EU so that we can have a look at them, and then we can have a nice analysis as well. So starting on Monday, I'm gonna drop to the hourly just to build some context. I did not expect this pullback right there to be the weekly high, because usually when I expect the weekly high or low is to form, it is like on Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's usually very what's the word? It's very specific, something like this, like a nice pump, then a nice reverse, and then I know, wow, this is my weekly high. I'm gonna sell off the market like mad right now. But what the market did is just on Monday. So this is the Asian high right there. On Monday, we just spiked above the Asian high, and then we just massively reversed to the downside, breaking structure. But I was so fixated on taking longs. I don't know why. I was expecting the market to reach higher than this level. I had this little level right there that I was targeting. So I got fixated on the longs, right? So I missed on a lot of shorts this week on EU. Still did good, but I'm not entirely happy. So let's jump onto the 15 minutes just to start showing you the trades. I believe this is Monday. I wasn't entirely focused this week. I was also trading from the phone, which I never do. So definitely, if you're trading, stay focused, right? Because then again, you have unrealistic expectations. You're not into the market, which is a big mistake. So what I expected again is I am looking for higher prices. The market broke above the Asian range, so I did not perceive this as manipulation. I was like, cool, we closed above. I'm going to be looking for longs. And I'm going to start dropping to the 1 minute right now just to break down the trades for you. Where is that trade? Oh, yeah, there it is. So this is my first trade for the week. And yeah, so what we had is again this break of structure. Then the market sharply pulled to the downside, which happens around after London Open. So I'm like, cool, well, I was a bit confused. I wanted to take a sell as well, but I was more on the buy bias from the higher time frame. So I'm happy that I did not take this sell because I was planning to trade something like this. I was planning to take a sell from here. The market reacted, but then it broke structure to the upside. And I was like, cool, man, we go long. Okay, so I found my higher low, which is right there, and I executed from right here. So the market then broke structure to the upside, retested, broke structure to the upside, retest, and I'm like, nice, we're going for the skies right now. And yeah, I think I wanted to sabotage like 70% of my position at that high. So this is like 3.6, and then I was gonna let some position to run. But again, what I failed to spot is the market pushing up higher low, cool. The market pushing up, failing to make a new high, right? The market pulling back again, cool, we're still in a higher low, tried to push, failing, tried to push, failing, all right? And what the market did, it just changed structure to the downside. But I'm still in my trade, like I had my break even just right here. I didn't get tapped. So what I failed to recognize is that the market just created a lower high. This is a lower low, there's the lower high, and that is a beautiful sell that I didn't take. And so boom, the market just stopped me out of break even. And what your guy does is he still looks for the longs, right? So this right here, I was looking for the long even right here. There was a level on the left, which I'm not gonna go right now because it will take some time to find. But yes, I'm looking for the longs. I don't take it from there. Then I see the market starting to change structure. So what I simply want to do is I want to trade the market into this very specific lower high right there. Why is this specific? Because it's the last lower high before a big move to the downside. So usually if the market comes inside such a level, it's gonna react very strongly. And we have a pretty simple setup right there. Again, where is your major higher low? It's right there. How do you find its major? Well, there are a lot of ways. Then the market starts pushing up, pulling back, pushing up, pulling back. So this level is already tapped. The market pushes up, taps inside this lower high. So again, you see how the market just follows. Like you have a push, pullback, push, pullback. Pullback right here. The market reacted but failed to make a higher high. So from that moment, I knew that this is not the level to buy the market from. So I immediately positioned myself from here. Nice manipulation to the downside, change the structure, and a nice pump into the upside for a very nice trade right there. I think I actually took it somewhere right there. I didn't write it right here, but then I was seeing this double tap and I'm like, cool, this is gonna get spiked. So yeah, this was a pretty nice trade right there. And yep, so that is pretty good. This is the Monday, I believe. Then going on to Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday was very tricky. I remember like this was the market like consolidating. I'm like, wow, man, what am I gonna do today? And still, I had some sort of a level right here on the left. This is why I'm taking those longs. But again, I don't take the short. I wanted to take a short. Let me actually show you. Wow, it's so hard to drop on the 1 minute and then find the price. So yeah, if I just trigger the Asian range for some context, where is it? Yeah. So I perceived the market actually to manipulate below the Asian range, and then I was looking for the longs, but then I see the market pushing up and I do not take a sell from right here. I had actually this level right there at the Asian high, but I feared to actually take a sell from there because I thought it's gonna break the Asian high. So I did not take a sell, and then what I saw is the market again pushing down, failing to react from this, like failing to make a new higher high, simply. Then again broke structure to the downside, so I'm like, cool, I'm gonna take a sell now, finally. I am with the trend. I set my order right here. Again, I even wanted to set it higher, but I just set it right here. I don't know why. I didn't want to take it from here, like 4 pips. getting a little bit greedy from times, guys, and it's perfectly normal. So I set this order right there and I got missed. So this one missed me. And again, I was just planning to trade it into my zone. Again, as I told you, I had some sort of a zone on the left. You can see like we have the market creating demand right there and then strongly pumping into the highs. So I perceived this to be demand. So what I did is, again, waiting for the market to change the structure. We had the market high, higher low, higher high, with a nice break of structure even on the left. So I was like, cool, this is my long signal. So I find my kind of the origin higher low and I execute it from right here. So the market gave me reaction. I was like, cool, it's gonna pump, and then boom, stop loss. So yeah, that was a stop loss, that was a mistrade, and that is me summed up for Tuesday. Then I do not take that short because I'm simply out of the market. It is something that I have to work on as well, like trying to stay with the market as long as possible. And there is my worst trades that I really regret on Thursday. So again, I am looking for the longs. The market looks really extended. This is a manipulation below the Asian range. We had a massive pump into the highs that break structure, and I'm expecting the market to get into a hourly level. So let me just show you to build some context. Yes, I'm looking for the market to get inside this level right there to be sold off again. So I'm looking to trade the market into that level, and I do, but very, micromanaging the trade. So what I do is, I see this accumulation, I see the market breaking structure, retesting, I do not take this trade, and then I see a massive pump into the highs. So that is really good news for me. I also wanted to take a short on this one simply because of this, but it was again the Asian high, so I fear taking trades at the Asian high because usually the Asian high gets broken, so I did not take a short from here, which I really wanted to do. But then the market starts pulling back and I'm just looking to take it from this overall range right there. So I executed exactly right there. Gave me the reaction, pullback. Gave me the reaction again, pullback. Then it started flushing to the downside. Then it started breaking. But as I just, the market pulled back. Then it pushed up and I closed it at break even. Somewhere around these places I closed the break even because I was just seeing the market was failing to push up, right? And I was like, cool, I'm just gonna cut it. I don't want to take a loss. Again, that's the same mistake that I do, looking for longs when the market was actually shorts, all right? And then just simply to see the market hit my targets, right? And I was quite disappointed. Again, what I found for myself is my week starts bad. I then transfer this bad feeling onto the next days as well. So if you have this, make sure to work on that. So then after the market actually taps into my target, I fail. I actually spotted, but I didn't trade because it's again too late for me. I failed to take all of those like break, lower high, lower high, lower high. Two beautiful opportunities for a massive sell-off to the downside. All right, so this is basically EU summed up for me. I hope you got something from it. I'm a little bit rushy right there because it's becoming too long. I should be making more videos during the week. So let me know if you would actually want to see me break down EU or GU in a much further details in a separate video. So right now, again, building up the whole story. Again, this is our last resort for potential longs. Right now, the market is initiating a pullback. So what I'm gonna look for on EU is to see where is it gonna pull back towards. Because this is a lower low right now. It's kind of tricky after NFP. Like we have this big buy candle, big sell candle, created a lower low. So right now it's gonna be testing this lower high. So I wanna see how does it react. But of course, if it doesn't react, we have a lot of levels to look on the left as well, right? So I'm personally gonna be still looking for the shorts, okay? Although it's starting to change the structure a little bit, let's see how it's gonna respond. And just looking at it right now, it doesn't make too much sense for me to see where it's gonna go. We are into the downside. We have broken structure. This is a lower low. So if you take your whole range from the high to the low, I would love to see the market go above the 50%. So then I can position myself for shorts, and I'm gonna start dropping to the lower time frames to see how it's gonna react. But of course, before that, if the market opens in a bearish manner and starts pulling back towards those levels, I am gonna be looking for the longs. So make sure to stay tuned for my Tuesday Telegram analysis, in which I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be looking for. Let's have a look at EJ. So this market pulled back very nicely on the weekly time frame. We had a massive pump into the highs, and right now we're having kind of a inside bar, which means that potentially we can expect some sort of a breakout, which I believe should be to the upside, okay? But again, don't believe anything because anything can happen. But the market is reacting currently from this very strong supply. As you can see, like this is the last buy candle before a huge downtrend, right? So this is a very significant area. So then what we do is we massively tap in, to the downside. We tap inside this very strong demand. We very strongly react. So what is the problem right now of this market is that it's in a downtrend on the daily. So what we have is again a beautiful lower high, lower low. The market pulls back for the lower high. Again, if you see, if I just drop the fib again, it always pulls back above the 50% before reacting. And right now what I like is that this one looks like it wants to be a higher low, right? But it's not, because it hasn't broken structure. So then dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, let's see, if we want to take longs again, we have to spot the range. So the range starts from the bottom to the top, and as you can see, the market perfectly tapped even below the 50%, which also resonates with this overall little range. Okay, so I really want to see right now how Euro JPY is gonna respond from this level. We already see, like, if you perceive this to be structure, it is broken. And if you still follow like lower high right there, lower low, lower high, lower low, break of structure of the most recent one, which is right there. So we're already starting to reverse. So what is very important for me to see on EJ this week is how it's gonna respond to this level. And it's gonna, if it starts developing bullish structure around right there, I'm definitely gonna go for the longs. Okay, even right now it looks like a nice setup because it's a nice impulsive move to the upside. It's also about to tap into a very nice hourly demand. So let's see, I'm first of all gonna be looking for the market to open bearish, to tap inside those areas, to change structure on the hourly, on the 15, on the 1 minute, and then potentially I'm gonna go strike for longs, targeting potentially even a new high. So let's see, but if this level fails, if the market dips below and closes below that level right there, of course, start adjusting to shorts. Okay, so take note, actually you should be dropping those with a raise. So drop this as your full hourly low, and if this low gets broken, your setup is invalidated. And of course your first target is this one, this high, and second target, that high. So let's see if we're gonna have a bullish week on EJ. Let's have a look at the Aussies, which are kind of moving differently right now because of UJ, because UJ is super strong right now. So all the JPYs are basically looking bullish, while the USDs are looking bearish, right? So it's very tricky right now to find the balance between the USD pairs and also the JPY pairs. But right now, as you can see on Aussie dollar, we have broken daily structure. So for me, this market is bearish right now, and potentially I would love to see it pull back again if I drop this whole range. Well, to be honest, it actually just touched the 50%. So this is enough for the market to be bought. All right. The question is, are we going to pull back deeper into the downside? Dropping onto the daily, what we can see is that we do not have a clear lower low this week because simply it did not close with a body below, which for me is kind of invalid, right? But where is our daily lower high? It's this one. Let's take it as a zone. Make sure to drop it with words so that you know what that is. And then making our way to the downside, you can see that this week was perfectly bearish as well. We opened right here. Basically, the market just opened, created a couple of wicks to the upside, and then we just had a massive sell week. All right. Then the market created a lower low on the 4-hourly, and on NFP, of course, we initiated this very strong pullback. Okay. So again, the question is this a pullback lower high to reverse down, or is this a complete reversal? Because you can see like the market starts to compress, and then boom, explodes to the upside and also breaks structure. So if we like spot the last lower highs, this is a lower high, this is also a lower high, this is not broken, but this one is broken, and even those little ones are also lower highs. So right now, again, the question is, if we drop our range from the high to the low, the market is just tapping inside the 50%. So I'm really curious to see, is the market gonna create a lower high? Let's say this looks like a nice level right there, because this is when the market kind of pushed down, consolidated, and then strongly initiated outside of that zone. If you drop to the hourly, you can see that you have a clear range right there to work with. Or is the market gonna, for example, right now on weekly open, pull back to the downside, create a higher low, reverse, and then tap inside this level, and then from there I'm gonna just be looking to see how the market is gonna react. Okay, so the Aussies right now, again, it's a little bit tricky. I am more bearish than bullish, but of course I am ready for everything. So if the market starts with a push to the downside, then potentially I would love to take longs from that level, and then to potentially take it a little bit higher inside those levels to potentially sell from. Okay, but if the market starts with a massive push up, then potentially I'm gonna be monitoring for sells right there, and then to potentially take it lower. Okay, so make sure that you are aware what your range is. This is your daily high, this is your daily low. So as long as the market remains below this one, we should be bearish. All right, So let's see how the market is going to develop. Slightly tricky, but of course, let's as always flow and see what we're going to have, and make sure to have those levels in hand as well. And as you can see, AJ, it looks perfectly bullish, right? So the weekly time frame already made the pullback. We're having a very strong bullish candle right there, and this candle is a typical pullback candle before a move up. Okay, it's also an inside bar. It's inside the previous candle, so definitely this week we can expect a breakout of the previous weekly high. And as you can see, again, we have a massive lower low right there. The market pulls back to create a lower high, tries to push down, but fails to make a new lower low. And right now, again, we're in kind of this little pullback stage. So again, two things can happen. This can be just a push, pullback in order for the market to reverse, or this can be a push, pullback, little kind of pullback to create a double bottom maybe, and then to potentially pump into the highs. All right. So this is what I expect on the daily, and then dropping to the 4-hourly where it actually makes more sense. We have this massive pump into the highs. Why does the market pump to the downside? Simply because it reacts from supply. Okay, so this supply is already been taken out. We have a massive pump to the downside. The market taps into demand, which I also believe I showed you, creates this beautiful sell. It's buy, break of structure, higher low, higher high. The market pulls back again into this level, actually breaking below this level right there. But then it's important that we still reacted in a very bullish manner. So I really want to see actually a break of that level right here to confirm the long bias. But what could happen as well at the beginning of the week is we might actually close above this one. Then we can start pulling back, create a higher low, and then to potentially start pumping higher. So I am bullish on all JPYs right now just because of the bullish UJ, which we're gonna see a little bit later. But this is what I'm looking at AJ. Okay, so AJ looks pretty bullish while AU is kind of still bearish, right? Because you see the difference? On AU we have a lower low, but on AJ we have a higher low, right? So pretty tricky, but let's see. Bullish bias on AJ. As for AU, we have to be patient and see what we have. Let's have a look at the NZDs. So again, slightly tricky situation. On the weekly time frame, we had the market failing to make a new higher high and actually breaking the higher low, which means bearishness. All right, so on the weekly time frame, we were bearish, but potentially what we also have, because if you see where did that move start, let's take it from here all the way to the top. The market already dipped below the 50%, tried to react. Right now, we're again dipping below the 50%. So still, the market is actually ready to go long, right? But we still need to see some sort of a confirmation. And if you have a look on the daily, like we had this massive dump to the downside, we had a pullback, lower high, perfect. Then we sold off a little bit. And then, this is actually NFP. NFP brought the market too much to the upside, and right now this looks like a higher low potentially for the market to break above, but not yet. All right, so make sure to mark your daily lower high, and as long as the market remains below it, we are bearish. Same scenario as with the Aussie. Okay, we had this massive push to the upside, the market reacts from this supply, give us the move to the downside, but then fails to make a new lower low. So that is also significant. And what it also does, it kind of consolidates, sells below, and then we have a massive buy that also broke the most recent structure. Okay, so pretty tricky right now because we can have a lot of scenarios right there. Currently, the market is going to respond to this level. So what we could have is the market tapping inside, pulling back, and then my question is it gonna hold right there to potentially take the market higher and maybe even to break above? Okay, so currently the major levels to note on NU is this daily lower high that, keep in mind, failed to make a lower low. So that's an important point to make. This broken lower high, and then potentially where does the move originate from? It's this one. So again, a couple of scenarios: a push into the highs to potentially take shorts, but targets inside here because we don't know if the market is actually going to respond to this and break above. Yes, we do expect lower lows, but what if the market responds and reverses? So make sure to take profits right there if you take shorts from here. Okay. And of course, if you start pumping up, then it's going to be a whole different story. But this is my current outlook on NZD. Daily level, full hourly level, little intraday reversal right there. So let's see if this is gonna hold and if we're potentially gonna take it higher. And if you have a look at NJ, it is already on the move. Weekly time frame, we had again another sell candle and massive buy candle right now, again inside bar. So definitely we can expect the market to push up and big wick. So what those wicks usually do is they get filled a little bit and then the market explodes. So what we can expect is a little pullback to the downside. And what you can see the market did, it created this bullish candle before a sell-off, which is the supply. The market tapped inside, very nicely reacted, but failed to continue lower. what it only did, it pulled back around the Fibonacci levels right there, and right now it's already on the move. So again, the question is it gonna continue? But if we drop to the 4-hourly level, again, same story, the market reacting from supply, giving us the move down, but then it taps into demand. So right now it's the battle, it's the clash of the supply and demand. So we came with the shorts, but then we come with the longs, and the longs look pretty strong, right? We also break structure to the upside. Right now the market is kind of sitting in the middle. So what I would expect again is, where is my major higher low? It's this one. So what I would expect the market to do is potentially to open bearish, to tap inside this level, to reverse, and then to potentially see it higher. Okay, so as you can see, I'm more inclining towards longs on the NZDs and on the Aussies, but I'm ready for everything, because imagine that the market, for example, taps inside right here, creates a lower high, and then it just plummets to the downside. Okay, so if we start seeing this, of course, make sure to take shorts, but make sure that you're also aware of all the levels, because you're usually gonna have, the market is constantly moving between supply and demand, right? So you just have to be in the flow, have realistic expectations, and of course, follow the flow. So let's see what the NZDs are gonna do. This guy right here is going to determine everything for the JPY pairs. All right, as you can see, we're having a pretty strong USD JPY, which drives all the JPYs to the upside. And if you remember, I'm kind of bullish on all of them, but what if UJ starts flushing from right there? Then of course they're also gonna get weak. So we have to really follow up. If you are trading JPY pairs, USD JPY is your DXY. Okay, so what we have right here is a beautiful uptrend, right? Very simple, higher highs, higher lows being created all the way. Right now we're having this higher low formation, so as long as the market stays above it, we are bullish. Okay, the market is a little bit too high, right? We tapped all the way into this very extreme support and resistance level, right? We tap inside, we react from it right now. So the question is, how are we gonna pull back inside this level right there to potentially create a higher low? As you can see, again, this market opened somewhere right here. It kind of chop, and then just on the 30th of June, we pumped into the highs, little pullback, pump into the highs again. So right now, what the market does, it's coming into the Fibonacci levels. We're just crossing below the 50%. So what we have to wait is for the market to accumulate, to do whatever it wants to potentially pump into the highs. Okay, so make sure to mark this level, because if this level gets broken, then we are going bearish. All right. What could also happen is, if the scenario is bearish, we can, for example, pull back inside right there, consolidate, break structure, take a long. But what if the market then fails to make a new higher high? Okay, so then you're gonna have this scenario of a shift. So then the market will potentially start heading lower. Okay, although I do not expect that, although I do expect a potential higher high, let's see, of course, what is going to happen. Currently, the outlook is we're pulling back towards that level. I'm going to be looking for the market to accumulate, to break structure, to really show me that it's ready to reverse, and then to potentially start taking the longs. Okay, so that's UJ. Let's wait. It's coming with strong pressure to the downside, so that it's going to need some time. You can see that UJ usually takes its time right before making a move up. Sometimes it's just like a massive sell and then a big buy, but most of the times it takes a lot of time. See, time right there before the move, time right there before the move. It's everywhere. Time before a move down, time before a move down, right? It's everywhere. So definitely I'm gonna be patient right there to wait for the reversal signals, then to potentially take it long. All right, let's have a look at the GBPs, as always, starting with GU, which is kind of tricky right now on the weekly time frame. I'm gonna tell you why. So first of all, it failed to make actually a higher high. So this wick is pretty, it's pretty big wick, but it failed to close with a body above. So basically created this sort of resistance level, and right now we're dropping to the downside. Of course, this is liquidity for later, so this is gonna be targeted later, but right now we are reversing down. And we are staying inside this overall base, right? As you can see, we had line of a consolidation, then we initiated outside. But the market came inside with a very strong pressure and actually almost closed below this little higher low right there. And right now we're just inside this level, and it's quite confusing to actually judge what the market could do. What I see is the market actually broke structure on the daily right now, and what we have is a massive pump down, pull back, lower high, lower low, all right? So on the daily, we are trending lower right now because this is a break of structure. So where is our daily lower high? It's this one, okay? So I would potentially expect the market to be targeting these lows right there, and then to potentially start reversing somewhere from there. I find it a little bit hard to find the weekly range. So for example, for me, this is the range right there. The market is very deep right now, so it should actually be starting to cook for reversals. But what if, for example, GU is just bearish, right? So just follow the market, and whatever it tells you right now on the daily, on the hourly, just follow it. If we drop to the hourly as well, a whole week of bearishness. Again, the weekly high was this one. So again, the market just consolidated, manipulated something like here, and then it just melted to the downside. Okay, so looking for longs this week on GU was not a smart thing to do. So right now, where are we? Okay, we just broke the structure, and right now we're in a pullback after NFP. What is the range from the high to the low? There it is. So potential levels for reactions will be above the 50% for me. I'm gonna look either for this one, or if this one doesn't get respected, I'm gonna be looking for this one, where I actually wanted to short the market this week, okay? But it just did this, and then it started melting to the downside. And then I was thinking that actually, I'm sure everyone was on the longs right there, and the market actually gave the reaction, but then it just melted to the downside. So we are right now bearish, okay? So what is my analysis is I'm gonna be looking for the market to pull back towards some of those levels, and as long as it stays below this kind of daily high right there, I am gonna be favoring the shorts, okay? But of course, what if we, for example, break structure right now, retest, create a higher low, we can take a long from here, then break structure again, then the market is turning bullish. So what this will be just a reaction for the market to potentially give us a pullback, to potentially target the next one, then again a reaction, and then to potentially make a higher high, okay? So that could be the other scenario. So don't try to go big shorts from right there, and always take profits fast, okay? But yeah, right now this is my outlook. I would love to sell from those levels, and I would love to buy maybe if the market pulls back right here before it actually pulls back into the upside. So if the market starts bearish, I'm gonna be looking for the longs towards those levels, and then from there I'm gonna start focusing on shorts. The hourly time frame doesn't look that bad as well. Like again, you can see beautiful lower highs. There is a beautiful short right there, push to the downside, nice pump to the downside. There is another short right there taking from the lower high. Yeah, tons of opportunities, but right now the pressure is to the upside. So again, what the market could do is it can drop to the downside, tap inside this level, react, come into the highs, and then to potentially sell off. Okay, so that is my plan on GU. Make sure to have those levels, and of course only the market will show us what it wants to do. GJ, of course, because of the bullish USD JPY, this one tried to push up, but with the bearishness of the GBP, it just couldn't, okay? The level was right here. As you can see, the market taps, reacts, taps, tries to react, and then we just blew through it. So since then, I am more bearish on it. But again, if we drop to the weekly, or let's say the daily, it is a little bit tricky right now, right? Because we're coming from this daily demand, and this is really strong. All right, so we tapped inside in a massive reaction that failed to make a new high. So right now this is also lower high, but is it the lower high? No, it's not, because the market still hasn't broken structure. And that is the thing, guys, with Forex, is that you only anticipate, you only project, you only forecast this to be a lower high, but you only know when a lower high is created after you have a lower low, right? So we never know that this is a higher low before the market made the move up. So that is a very important thing to understand, that it's all about probabilities as well. But right now, what is the market doing? I don't know. It looks kind of bearish right now because like we pushed to the downside, lower low, lower high, massive pump down. So basically this created this supply. The market is currently reacting from it and is trying to push down. But right now there is a big battle between supply and demand. All right, as you can see, the market is stuck between those two ranges. So it's very hard for me right now to give a outlook and a forecast, right? Because everything can happen, and I'm not really trading GJ. So yeah, very nice reaction from here. We took it into the highs, but right now the market is also coming from sellers. So definitely, I don't know. We can tap inside, react, or we can tap to the downside, react, or we can come inside all of those daily levels, this big sell candle before the big move up, before actually reversing into the highs. And again, keep note that on the daily, we are slightly bearish, but still we're coming from this daily demand. So the market should be turning, but as low as it stays below this level, it is supposed to be bearish, okay? But if you look at it from a swing perspective, but again, if we look from the low to the high, the market already dipped below the 50%. So I believe it is actually ready to rocket to the upside. So let's see how the market is going to respond to that level right there. Let's see what kind of structure is created, and of course make sure to flow with the market and wait for some new structure to get created before we actually strike. The market is always gonna show you where it wants to go. So if it's not clear at this moment, you just don't trade, right? GA, I don't trade GA at all. Yeah, again, kind of tricky situation. We have a higher high, we have a higher low. The market failed to make a higher high, so right now it looks like a selling pressure to the downside, but we are kind of bullish because we broke above this little lower high, closed above it, and we stacked these kind of triple tops right there, and currently the market is in the pullback phase. So for me, it's important to see the market dip below the 50%, which it already does, and potentially two reaction levels, either this one or either this extreme to the downside. So let's see. That's my very quick outlook on GA because I don't trade that pair, and yeah, I don't feel quite proficient with it. So yeah, I'm gonna be looking for reactions from both of those levels for potential upside, and make sure that you wait for a clear shift on the lower time frames as well, because currently the market is kind of a little bit turning to sellers. We failed to make a new higher high after this big pullback, but we also are breaking structure to the upside. So that means that kind of there is a battle right now between buyers and sellers. So let's see who is gonna win. But potentially, as I said, longs from those levels. And Euro GBP is another pair that I don't trade at all. But guys, look at that. Like, it's just, yeah, it is creating nice bearish structure. Don't get me wrong. Bearish, lower high, lower low. Then we started breaking structure since this moment right here. We broke the structure, higher low. So this right here is a major higher low that has been failing to break on numerous occasions. We kind of broke above, and right now we're again sitting at a higher low. So for me, it's very important to see how is this one gonna respond right there. But Euro GBP for me is an awful pair. Like again, I say this every time, but a combination of Euro USD and GBP USD, which usually move together. So this one is usually ranging. But if we really zoom in, what is the market doing right now? Yeah, it didn't close above the structure, but we have kind of a higher low, higher high, pulling back for a potential higher low. So for me right now, it's really important to drop to the hourly time frame and to see how the market is going to respond to that level, and if it's going to start building bullish structure to potentially target a new higher low. But if it fails and if it breaks below, then definitely we might be about to head a little bit lower. In terms of weekly, pretty confusing. Like if you look on the bigger picture, like yes, we're tapping inside this extreme. The market is looking like kind of a higher low formation right there. If you consider this push, pullback, higher low for potential higher prices. On the daily time frame, it looks like the same. We have this big sell, then we have this big buy that broke structure. So basically this right now is our major daily higher low. So as long as the market remains above it, we should be looking for buys. But yeah, all of that mess right there, yeah, pretty hard to read. So more on the bullish side, to be honest, on Euro GBP, which means bearish on GU, which kind of resonates with, of course, what I want to see. But yes, so this is my outlook on the GBPs. So let's see, looking for the shorts on GU, potentially a pullback above the 50%. GJ, looking for something more to happen before actually I strike on a trade. GA, I look at it more bullish than bearish, which does not resonate with Euro GBP. But of course, Euro GBP, it could, for example, pull back only to this hourly level right here, and then reverse to the downside. So if this happens, it's going to give us a nice confirmation for the other GBPs as well. All right, so those are the GBPs. Let's have a look at gold and some indices. Let's have a look at Goldie. So we're having an overall bullish week. As you can see, the market spiked inside this level and we very nicely reacted, but still we need to see something more. And according to me, this is more bearish right now, but it's possibly because of all of that selling pressure coming in right now. So we accumulated, we kind of faked below right now, and we're almost actually reversing. We're almost breaking structure, and even on the 4-hourly time frame, yeah, almost. But for me right now, gold is pretty confusing. I still have this little base right there that the market can potentially react from. But as you can see, we're overall starting to create little bullish structure. So we created a higher low right there, we higher high, higher low, and right now we have another higher high. So definitely, I would love to see the market pull back a little bit, create a higher low, then jump into those levels right here, and then to potentially see how the market is going to react. We're having this kind of a trend line that everybody is trading, for example, right now. It's already broken, so people will be going for the buys. So let's see how this is going to play out. Actually, gold is very manipulative, so you definitely need to spend some more time with it. I am not trading it at this period, but definitely interested to add it to my watch list. All right, but yeah, looking for the longs on gold potentially towards that level. So let me know down in the comments, do you expect gold to rise or do you think it's gonna flush from its current state? The indices just keep rising, man. They do not pull back. So as you can see from previous week, we had this massive bullish engulfing candle, and this week we only had a little wick now, which is absolutely perfect. And right now we're straight continuing into the upside, potentially even about to create new all-time highs. So where I was looking for the market to pull back was inside this 4-hourly base right there, but as you can see, the market pulled back, gave us a little pullback again, had a nice sell and a big buy. Okay, so what is this right there? So we have basically a new level to work with right now, which I'm gonna move. Something like this looks pretty perfect. So yeah, right now again, I definitely do expect all-time highs as the market is perfectly bullish. So what I will be looking for is again for a sharp pullback to the downside and then a potential continuation up, because what you can see is that those indices always at least once per week they give you like a nice spike somewhere. And then usually after the spike, you get that big reaction. So as well, let's wait for a little pullback, then a nice spike inside that area, and then to potentially see it go higher. On the other hand, NASDAQ is just moving up. All right, those companies are just doing amazing. No pullback, new all-time highs. We're just exploding, right? It is actually not very nice because yeah, this is way too strong. So definitely we should start expecting some sort of corrections. It's getting too much and hopefully the bubble is gonna pop soon. But yeah, in terms of structure, all I need to see is a potential pullback. And yes, my last kind of base is this one. This is my last higher low. So any pullback towards this whole range will be a potential buying opportunity. And if we break below it, then potentially reversal. Okay, because even the daily even needs pullback. Like here we had a nice pullback. This is really nice. But right now, since then, we've been nicely trending into the highs. Already traded like, yeah, 15% to the upside. So definitely we would love to see on average like 8% correction. Like this one was, yeah, 8%, maybe even 4. Maybe even 4 will be enough towards that level. But of course, let's see. And S&P, new highs as well. No pullback on this guy. And I can't manage to buy because if I buy, I'm buying too high, right? And I don't want to do this, but this market just keeps climbing up. And yeah, if you have a nice stock portfolio right now, it should be looking all green, right? But yes, extended market to the upside. What I'm looking at is just for a simple pullback towards taking it higher. I usually work with percentages on this one. So for example, I always buy when the market drops like 4%. I was buying right here, although it was just 3, and I was buying right there as well, 2. But yeah, the overall pump down was actually 4 to 5. So definitely waiting for a pullback. I don't buy when the market was pushing up, is pushing up. So definitely quite expecting that little pullback. So very nice. I also bought some Ethereum. This is out of the topic, but I was seeing Ethereum down there right there. So I bought it from around 2K, somewhere right there. Gave me a little pullback, but right now it's starting to reverse. So definitely Ethereum as well, to the moon, right? So this is how I'm gonna wrap up this video, guys. I really hope you got some value from it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see more from me. Do you want me to speak on like technical topics, maybe break down all of my trades, maybe break down how the week develops on Thursday, let's say, maybe some psychological content? Let me know what you want to see. I want to welcome some ideas. And yeah, hopefully you stayed up until now. Thank you so much, and see you on my Tuesday Telegram analysis. Take care and have a crushing week.